doing today? My name's Eric. I really appreciate you stopping by to check out my video today. On this episode of Smo'King, I'm going to be making some hickory smoked meatloaf. Now, meatloaf is one of those things, it's an American comfort food, and I absolutely love it, especially when it's done the traditional way. But I've tried it a few times, putting it on the smoker, and also wrapping it up in a bacon weave, and oh my goodness, does it take it to the next level. This is a pretty simple recipe. You just put everything together, you put it in a pan. I'm going to show you how to make a bacon weave, wrap up this meatloaf. We're going to make a homemade glaze for it. It's going to be absolutely delicious. I got some 85% lean ground beef. I got some ground pork, some bacon, some green onions, some eggs, garlic, Worcestershire sauce. I got a shot of whiskey, red onion, breadcrumbs, some steak seasoning, half and half, ketchup, salt and pepper. Let me show you how to do this step by step. Stick around. Let's get cooking. Alright, I'm going to show you all the ingredients we're going to mix together. Don't worry about writing them down. I'll leave all the specifics in the video description. I got 2 pounds of ground beef and 1 pound of ground pork in here. We're just going to lightly salt and pepper this. We're not going to go crazy because we're going to have a lot of other spices in here. So don't go overboard. Okay, so I'm going to add the dry ingredients first here. We have around half to 3/4 of a chopped up red onion. We got around 5 or 6 green onions that have been chopped up finely. There we go. I have around 4 or 5 garlic cloves in here to get every last bit out because I don't want to miss out on the garlic. Love me some garlic. Okay. Some Panko breadcrumbs. Wouldn't be meatloaf without the breadcrumbs. I got a tablespoon of steak seasoning. Now what I'm using is this Chicago steak seasoning. You don't have to use this. You can use any old steak seasoning. I wouldn't recommend anything really sweet because the glaze we're going to make to put on this is going to be comprised of ketchup and brown sugar, and both ketchup and brown sugar are already sweet to begin with, so you don't want to have a sweet overload. This Chicago steak seasoning is a little bit more salty, so we're going to have like a little salty sweet. So we're going to put in the Chicago steak seasoning. Now I got some regular half and half, a 1/4 cup here. This is our liquid ingredients. I have a couple eggs that I've lightly beaten. There we go. I got some Worcestershire sauce here. And then last but not least, we want to give it a really good shot of your favorite whiskey. I'm using bourbon whiskey because that's my favorite. There we go. So that's all the ingredients there. Now there's no easy way to do this other than using your hands. Get some good disposable gloves of some sort. We don't want to go crazy and overmix this. We just want to lightly toss it to incorporate all the ingredients. So just get in here and go to town, as my mom would say. So just mix everything up, just literally for maybe a minute, minute and a half. We don't want to go crazy. Like I said, we just want to get everything blended properly. So here we are. This is basically how it's going to look like when it's all mixed up, okay? Like I said, don't go crazy and overmix it. Now, I stole this idea from Malcolm Reed from How to Barbecue Right when he does a barbecue meatloaf. I get these little disposable bread tins. You can get them at just about any grocery store. I put a sheet of saran wrap, plastic wrap. This is going to make it easier for me to remove it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put enough to fill the container around halfway. And you want to push it in there real good. Because what I'm going to be doing here, and this is an optional step, okay? I'm going to be stuffing it with some pepper jack cheese. And I read that some people recommend, I took some pepper jack cheese and I cut it in these strips last night, put it in a freezer bag, and it's been sitting in the freezer. So this is going to make it a little bit more difficult for this to melt immediately. Just these tiny strips here. So I'm just going to put a couple strips in here in the center. We want it to be completely covered. I think 3 should be about right. There. And now, cover the top of it with more of the meat mixture here. Make sure, of course, that the cheese is completely covered. Just like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack these down really good, and I'm going to stick them in the freezer probably for a good 20 minutes, half hour. I just want them to firm up, and I want them to maintain the shape of this pan. This meat's a little bit on the warm side. So just take the plastic wrap, wrap it up like this, and just stick it in your fridge. Like I said, 25 minutes to a half hour. So let me finish doing the rest of these. I got a couple more tins. I'm not quite sure how many. I might just be able to make 1. I thought I might need 3 because these pans are kind of small, but it looks like 2, maybe 3. We'll see. But anyway, I'll get to work on this. I'll put them in the fridge. I'll be back in a second when I show you how to make the glaze. See you then. So now I'm going to show you how to make this glaze. It's really basic. We start with 1 cup of regular old tomato ketchup. Then we're going to add half a cup of really packed brown sugar. Okay. Now we're going to add a half a cup of the bourbon whiskey. Now the whiskey is optional. If you don't like whiskey, you're not a drinker, don't go buy it on my account. I just like the flavor. 1 tablespoon of that rub again, okay? Whether it's a barbecue rub or a steak rub, whatever it is that you choose. And then we're just going to do, I'm just going to eye this, the Worcestershire sauce. We're just going to give it a nice couple dashes there. And if you like a little bit of heat, put some hot sauce in. I like this sriracha sauce. It's one of my favorite hot sauces. It's a little garlicky. So, whoops, let me open it. I'm not going to go crazy, just like that, okay? That's it. I'm going to mix this all up till it makes a nice sauce. And this is what we're going to glaze our meatloaf with. And I'm going to show you how to really kick up your meatloaf to the next level by wrapping it up in a bacon weave. And it's really easy to do, and it really makes a nice, impressive presentation. I've laid 6 slices out. And you can see it's around the same size of my tin. I only managed to make 2 of these, but that's fine. They're going to be delicious. So lay it flat down on a board. And then we're just going to interweave these all. So the easiest way to do that would just be to pull back on the odd ones like this. And we're going to lace it like that. Just like so. And now we're going to pull back on the opposite ones. Like so, and we'll lay our next piece out. Now normally, you know, I like thick bacon. Like if I'm cooking it for breakfast or whatever, because it's a little bit thicker. Whoops, make sure it doesn't get kinked up. But for this particular recipe, I'm just using regular old store-bought bacon that's a thinner slice for a couple reasons. One is because I don't want the bacon too thick because it might not cook all the way when it's wrapped in that meatloaf. And secondly, I want to have some of that hickory smoke that I'm going to be using in my smoker kind of shine through. And not only smoke the bacon, but be able to smoke the meatloaf. And if I have it wrapped up in a really super thick slice of bacon, it kind of defeats the purpose. So just like that. Just kind of go back and forth until you got it all made up. I'll continue to do this, and I'll come back in a second and show you how it looks like when it's all done. Alright, so here we are. I made 2 different bacon weaves here. Same thing. Now this one here I have on a cookie sheet, and I just laid out some butcher paper because I got a couple rolls of it. You can use aluminum foil. You can use a wax paper. You just want to put something on there, obviously, okay? So the easiest way to do this is taking another piece here, and put it like this. Oops. And then I'm going to grab the whole board, and we're just going to flip the whole thing over, like so. Boom. Now the reason I'm double stacking these and got it on a cookie sheet is because now I'm going to put this in the freezer. This is really soft bacon, and it's going to be hard to wrap those meatloaves, and it's really soft like that. So I'm just going to put them in the freezer, not too long, maybe 20-25 minutes. In the meantime, I'll fire up the smoker, get it up to temperature, and I'm going to enjoy a nice beer while I wait, because it's a summer day, it's hot, I got a summer beer, but that's it. I'm just going to go stick this in the freezer. I'll meet you back here in a minute. All right, while I'm waiting for that bacon wrap weave to get a little bit stiff and my smoker to warm up, time for a beer. Leinenkugels, I can't even remember. Summer Shandy. This is a wheat beer brewed with honey and natural lemon flavor. And this is brewed in Wisconsin. Now I grew up in the suburbs, northwest suburbs of Chicago, and I remember this this beer. It's actually pretty good. They make several different varieties, and they just recently started carrying it out here, which I'm glad. I've never tried this one. I can't remember which one I tried. I tried one probably like 6-7 months ago, and it was pretty good. And I'm still friends with some of the people I went to high school with back in Illinois, and I've seen a couple Facebook posts where people are drinking this in the summertime. And I like the little lake, you know, in the boat. I'd love to have a little house. I'd love to retire in a little house up in Wisconsin somewhere on the lake. Definitely want to get out of California at some point. But yeah, so I thought I saw this in the store. I thought I'd give it a shot. So let's see what we're doing, what we got here. Boy, I could tell right away it's a cloudy beer. Definitely wheat. It's got a mild little. Oh, I definitely smell lemon. Wow. Woo. It's very strong. As always, guys, cheers. I appreciate you watching my video. I'm really looking forward to this hickory smoked barbecue meatloaf wrapped in bacon. Man, this is going to be delicious. Thanks again for watching. Wow. Ooh, strong lemon flavor. And it's fizzy. Wow, it doesn't taste like beer at all. It almost tastes like a lemonade almost, like a fizzy lemonade. I can see why some people would like this in the summer, because it is very light, very drinkable. It's definitely got a strong lemon flavor. It's almost too much of a lemon flavor if you ask me, because it tastes almost a little artificial. It's hard for me to describe. And I did go online and look. They said it's 4.2% alcohol, so it's not a very strong beer. It's definitely designed for hot summer days where you're trying to drink something, but you don't want something really heavy because it's really hot, you know, outside, and you don't want something to weigh you down, especially if you're, you know, out doing activities, swimming, what have you. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good, I'll drink it, but I probably won't be buying this particular version again. It's a little too mild, it's a little too fizzy, it's a little too lemony for me. I like something with a little bit more of a bite to it. Not necessarily, I mean, I like, you know, mild beers in the summertime, but I think the lemon is throwing me off. Maybe it's something I'll get accustomed to, but initially here, it's almost too much lemon, and it's not like a nice lemon. It's almost like it's hard for me to describe. It's like an artificial lemon. You know, sometimes when you have a lemon candy, and it tastes like lemon, but there's something a little off about it. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from this right here. But don't get me wrong, I'm still going to drink it. Oh yeah, it's a strong lemon flavor. Maybe by the end of this big can, I'll have grown used to it. It'll be a little bit easier going down, but it's hot. I'm definitely going to drink it. We'll be back in around, I don't know, I'm going to give it around 15 minutes. Get that bacon weave nice and cold in the freezer, and we'll be back in a second. I'm going to show you how to wrap them up. Until then, I'm going to enjoy this. Thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Cheers. It's been around 25 minutes. The smoker's warmed up, ready to go. I've taken everything out. This has been in the freezer, so it's definitely a lot stiffer. It's going to be easier to wrap up. Here's our meatloaf. It's been in the fridge. So you're going to unwrap the top part of it here. And we're going to stick it down on one end of the bacon weave. Boom. Now the easiest way to get this off is just to put your hand flat on the plastic wrap, and then as you lift up, whoop, see? It holds it in place. Once it's completely up, peel the rest of it off. Voila. Boy, that looks good. Alright. Now we have this glaze that we made earlier. We're going to give it a light coating of glaze before we wrap it up in bacon. This is also going to help the bacon stick to the meatloaf. I did taste this. It definitely is on the sweet side, but I think with that Chicago steak seasoning, the saltiness, it's going to be a good combo. And then of course the bourbon, it tastes good. Alright, just like that. We don't have to go crazy, just a light coating. Just like so. We're going to save the rest of this for the last 20 minutes, half hour of the cook. So now, it's good to have a piece of paper, piece of foil, piece of wax paper underneath to help you facilitate the roll. Easier said than done, so just take your time. Okay? So we're just going to do this. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to lift this up like so. I don't want to lift up a little bit like so. There we go. I'm going to do it one more time. Oh, boom. Now what I've done is I've taken one of the racks right out of my smoker. I sprayed it with some non-stick cooking spray. And we're going to put this on top. I already have one on there, as you can see. Let's see if I can do this. Sometimes easier said than done. Oh, there we go. Now just take a few minutes, make sure the bacon, wrap it around, tuck it in, stick it into the meat itself. As this cooks and warms up, this is going to shrink and it's going to pull, tighten up around the loaf, so it'll be much tighter. There you go, guys. Look how delicious that looks. It's not even cooked. It looks so good. So I'm going to throw these in the smoker in a second. I'll meet you outside. Alright guys, make sure you put a couple trays underneath your rack here, because it's definitely going to drip a little bit, especially when we put that glaze on. So I have my smoker heated up to around 225 degrees. You can go 225 to around 245, even 250. I wouldn't go any higher than that initially, because we want these to kind of soak up some smoke. So I'm going to cook it right at around 225, and probably for the next couple hours. I'm not going to put a temperature probe in it right now. We're going for eternal temperature of 160, but to be honest, we're probably not going to hit that till at least 3 hours, maybe 4. I might, in the last hour and a half, 2 hours of cooking, depending on how we're progressing, I might crank it up to 275 or something, just to kind of crisp up the bacon if I need to, and to get this meatloaf cooked before it's not dinner time. So just like that. Perfect. I got a light hickory smoke coming out right now. I got the water pan filled with water. We are done. I'm going to shut this up, and I will see you guys in a couple hours. Here we are, guys. We're around just past 2 hours. It reached an internal temperature of 150 degrees. I put a temperature probe in the one here. It's also leaking a little bit of cheese, but you know what? I like the way it looks. I'll deal with it. Now I'm going to start putting on this nice glaze I made on the top. We're just going to brush this on maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times. Just depends on how long it takes to get up to 160 internal. I did turn it up. I had it running for the first hour and a half or so on just one burner. It was hovering around 220. I just turned it up. Now it's hovering around 270. I turned the other burner on low. So I just want to make sure this bacon gets nice and crisp. It should get no problem. It's looking pretty good right now. This should caramelize real nice. Looking good, man. I am looking forward to trying this tonight. I got some potatoes, loaded potatoes that I got cooking in the sous vide machine. I'll leave a link below. That's going to be our dinner tonight. That's looking like it's going to be delicious as well. So I am looking forward to this. We'll be back shortly. Alright, here we are. I just took them off the smoker. Total cooking time was around 3.5 hours, give or take. Look at how beautiful that bacon is, just all cooked and caramelized. I had both of them here, but one I took here, we're going to slice it up. I hope that cheese is looking good inside. Boy, but it looks good. So let me get this sliced open and we'll take a look. Alright, ready to slice into this? I'm just going to slice it right down the middle, just so we can see how this looks like. Man, well, yeah, I'll do it right down the middle. I think that's around the middle. Alright, let's see. Ooh, it's juicy and it smells so smoky. Alright guys, here we go. Make sure I get this on camera. Let me turn it a little bit. Let's take a look. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Alright, here we are. I got it sliced up. My wife Monica. The kids are already in bed. I sliced a few pieces up. Try a piece with the bacon on top. Let's see here.
Oh wow. It tastes like beef jerky, like the flavor of the barbecue sauce. It's really good.
She smelled it when I had it laying out on the counter, and she said it smells like beef jerky, because I guess I smoked my beef jerky. Did a video, I'll leave a link below, in the same smoker, so maybe that's what.
No, but I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just that the barbecue sauce has that beef jerky taste. It is delicious, by the way. I'm kind of picky with meatloaf. I don't like it to have an aftertaste or be too dry. This is delicious.
And that bacon weave, wow. With that bourbon sauce I made with the ketchup and brown sugar.
That really complements it.
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
We haven't really, hang on.
Let's try. Look at that. That is beautiful.
Let's try.
You can see it.
Yeah. Let's try a piece with the cheese, because I haven't even tried the cheese. It dripped out initially when we sliced it, but I let it sit here and cool for a few minutes, and now it's gotten a little harder. Okay, here, take this nice piece with me. Let's try it with the cheese.
It's like 5 bites right there, my goodness.
Wow. Something about mixing that pork in with the beef, I think just gave it a little bit more tenderness. Different consistency that you normally... Oop.
Fireworks.
We're approaching 4th of July. Someone's shooting off fireworks. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you watching my video. I have all the details below in the video description, measurements and so forth. If you like the video, please hit like. If you like my channel, subscribe. And click the link above, my website, ericsmokingbbq.com. Until next time, we'll see you. Thanks a lot.
Bye.